Hi! Hi, you guys! Nice to have you here.
Hi.
So,
Hello.
we've been to
Bletchley Park.
Bletchley Park yesterday. So I just want to interview you guys briefly. So what do you think about that? And anything you want to share with our audience?
Okay, Nigel, what did you think? What was your favourite bit?
Yeah, fascinating place. The huts were done out as they would be, where the old typewriters and the books they used to decode some of the Enigma codes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you, which bit did you like?
I think what struck me most is because I watched the movie after I finished the trip last night. I think struck me most is it must be really bad. I mean, hurts really bad for those people because they were commanded to demolish everything, destroy all the evidence. It's like giving birth to a baby, and you see it grow up and make process and make successful life and make some difference, and then you have to destroy it with your own hand. That's really, really hard. But they did it anyway. And they have to keep that secret for themselves for years.
Because it's only just come out under the Official Secrets Act, because normally everything has to wait for about 70 years. Yeah. It's,
How about you, Carl?
Well, it was just the sheer scale of the place that impressed me, because I never thought it had that many outhouses and buildings and things like that. So, I thought it was pretty good. I thought the restaurant was pretty good. In the cafeteria hut.
Yeah, I like their coffee. Coffee is really nice.
In the cafeteria hut, they did wartime recipes.
Yeah. Oh, they do. They have that.
Yeah, they had lovely lentil stew, which was
Ooh.
really great, and also potato and leek soup. Which was a standby in those days, because they found it really difficult to get things in. And of course a lot of stuff came over to the UK from America and places like that, and the convoys and the German U-boats were sinking the convoys. And the work that they were doing there at Bletchley Park was trying to stop this happening. So it was interesting. As I say, the cafe was really good, and the cakes and things were really nice that they've got there. And they've even got gluten-free, which is really good.
It's more like the food part. Okay.
Yeah.
What else want to share? Anything else?
Yeah, well, the Enigma machine is quite enlightening as to how this, or not the Enigma machine, the bomb machine to decode the
Enigma.
The Enigma, and the process of having to reduce the 1 in so many thousand chance of getting it.
And
right.
how the guy demonstrated, Through
Yeah.
that 2 clips,
So each of the 5 or 6 different processes to get down to what a machine could do, and then it became human intervention, working through different methods to decode.
Yeah, I think another part I watched from the movie, which we didn't see in the park yesterday, was what I told you about. They actually found this method 2 days before that U-boat has been attacked. And Alan Turing, he kept that secret with his group of people for 2 days. So hundreds of civilians people died. But they kept that secret for 2 more days, just want to save the war. So that's really hard. And one of his workmates, his brother, was actually on one of the boat. So really, really hard. Yeah, but they did it anyway. So that's, I know it's getting close to the Memorial Day, because you guys are going to the service.
Memorial,
Memorial
that's
Day.
on that's the end of, when is it? When is, let me have a look. When's Armistice Day? Let me see. It's going to be, Remembrance Day is on the 11th. 11th of next month. And when, in Britain you'll see loads of poppies out. Nigel's wearing a poppy now.
Yeah.
Cool.
And they're red poppies to symbolise the fields in which the veterans of the First World War gave up their lives, and many of them were buried there. The French have a blue flower which they use as a symbol.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to remember that in the First and the Second World War, this little island stood alone, absolutely alone, and America did not come into the First World War until about 6 months before the end. And it certainly did not come into the Second World War until Pearl Harbor happened, and that was quite a long way in.
Yeah.
So, you know, for one little island to stand up against all the might of Europe, I think was a phenomenal thing to do. I mean, okay, yeah, we had the Commonwealth who supported us, but without the Commonwealth, you know, it would have been really, really bad. And in fact, there was one point we were actually on our knees, and Churchill was just waiting for the next thing to happen. So you see, Bletchley Park was extremely important.
Yep, it is.
Because it decoded all these messages that came in.
Saved millions of lives.
Absolutely. And also, what got me too was the fact that they thought after the First World War, they thought that they no longer did they need to rely on getting messages through by telephone or pigeon. They could use radios, but the radios didn't work in lots of places, and so they had to revert to using pigeons to get messages back. And the story of the pigeons is quite amazing. Actually, the story of animals at war is amazing. But the decoding and the way they did it, I think was phenomenal. And I've seen the film about Alan Turing, and I'm totally amazed by the capacity of his brain and the brain of all the others. But you see, added to that too, you see, they knew these codes. They broke these codes, and you know, my parents were involved in a thing at sea where they were going out to Africa, and they'd been tailed by U-boats. They'd been tailed by U-boats going down there, and they dropped depth charges. I mean, the ships dropped depth charges and everything, but you know, they did end up. The enemy came and they bombed 2 ships. They bombed strategic ships, and Churchill was very angry about that. But yeah, so they had to take to the small boats, and they got away. But not very many people lost their lives, thank goodness. So yeah, I mean, the intelligence got through. So you know, I just think war is just so horrible.
Yeah, talking about that. Another story is I read around the lake. I didn't know if you guys went there.
No.
So they have to have certain permissions for people to take their love life in those times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's 2 people I think they get a special permission after the war because they work together. I don't know if it's really hard.
Yeah.
They don't see each other very often.
No.
But they kept this love story going on, and after the war they got a special permission and they got married. They got a photo around the lake.
Okay.
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very bad.
What you were saying earlier, though, I mean, it was all about the, you know, the machines and the offices, etc. But also just the fact that they kept it a secret for so long, didn't they? So the Germans didn't realise that all these messages were being broken, which led to us knowing where they were going to attack and being there ready for them, which we wouldn't have known. This is sort of intelligence that we've gathered through the messages.
And that's also interesting, the way the pigeons were used. The less able ones were used, and they used to put false messages on them, and they would drop them over Germany. And of course the pigeons, the pigeons would home in on a flock there, and they would go back to this other pigeon's loft, and of course they would get the false message.
Well,
very cunning.
One of the presentations was saying about what they call traffic, false traffic. messages. You're kind of mixing up the information out there, so that there was Americans passing false information and English. So even if they suspected that we had cracked a code, we would think we were going to a different place to actually where we were going to. So
they did a lot
it was
of
that sort of thing as well, where it was quite clever, misleading them as much as they were misleading us. So.
Okay, so one last question. What's the best part you take from that trip?
I think probably the dedication in rebuilding that machine. It took 12 years to rebuild.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you could see it in the making, so we could see now how it was created.
Yeah, if it took 12 years then, how long did it take to build them in those days?
9 months.
9 months?
Yeah.
So why did it take 12 years to build?
Because all the stuff they used in those times, no people were actually using them. They just have to make those stuff.
It's like Bakelite, I think they said was something they don't use now.
It's
They did use then.
Bakelite,
Bakelite.
Well, the best part for me is, do you remember the post we took photo for? The careless talk?
Oh yes. Yeah.
I like that.
Careful,
Careless talk kills
what you're
lives.
saying.
That's the best part for me.
Yeah.
So gotta be careful when we talk, because language is really powerful, what we say. So How about you?
Oh well, I did a lot of research on the pigeons.
Okay. So that's the best part for you.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the very brave one, the one that that still survived umpteen attacks.
Oh, Winky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's his name.
Came back several times, having been attacked by another
Really?
bird.
Having been attacked by a peregrine falcon, and almost ripped to shreds.
Oof. Tough bird.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Tough.
But I'm not going to say anything about it because I've got an idea brewing in my head.
Oh, okay. Anything about your book you want to say?
No.
Watch this space.
Okay. So.
But I mean, I'd definitely go again. I'd like to take my my grandchildren.
Okay.
That'd be good.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome.